Hello, friends. Welcome to NovelEdges. Today, we will discuss the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad: What the Rich Teach Their Kids About Money That the Poor and Middle Class Do Not by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki founded the Rich Dad Company, a private financial educational company that provides personal finance and business education through books and videos. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the story of a person with two fathers: his biological father, the poor dad, and the father of his childhood best friend Mike, the rich dad. Both fathers taught the author how to succeed, but with disparate approaches. One died, leaving tens of millions of dollars to his family, charity, and church. The other left bills to be paid. It became evident to the author which father's approach made more financial sense. Throughout the book, the author compares both fathers, their principles, ideas, financial practices, and degree of dynamism, and how his real father, the poor and struggling but highly educated man, paled against his rich dad in terms of asset building and business acumen. The author compares his poor dad to those perpetually scampering in the rat race, helplessly trapped in a vicious cycle of needing more, but never being able to satisfy their dreams for wealth because of one glaring lag: financial literacy. They spend so much time in school learning about the world's problems, but have yet to acquire valuable lessons about money, simply because it is never taught. Money should be taught in schools, but instead, schools focus on academic and professional skills rather than financial ones. One of the reasons the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class struggle with them is that money is taught at home, not in school. Most of us learn about money from our parents. Poor dad. The author compares his poor dad to the millions of fathers who encourage their sons to do well in school so they can get excellent jobs with good companies. Poor dad believed in the traditional principles of working hard, saving money, and not buying material things one cannot afford. He felt that having an excellent job with a solid company is what one should aspire to. Hence, he expressed disappointment when his son left the employment of a large, reputable corporation. Poor dad looked to education as the passport to success. He earned a doctorate and went to Ivy League universities, but always needed financial help. Poor dad was more interested in a good education than money. Rich Dad, the author, wrote that when he was 9 years old, he started realizing that his rich dad made much more sense than his poor dad. It was from Rich that the author learned not to say, "I can't afford it," but instead to ask, "How can I afford it?" But instead to ask, "How can I afford it?" Rich Dad believed that the words, "I can't afford it," shut down your brain. "How can I afford it?" opens up possibilities, excitement, and dreams. The son, Robert Kiyosaki, begins his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by saying he is fortunate to have had poor dad, by saying he is fortunate to have had two fathers. He compares and contrasts both fathers' views about working hard, getting an education, saving and investing, and realizing how the habits of the rich and poor significantly differ. He attributes his financial understanding to his many conversations with his rich dad. The author takes a common sense approach to money and emphasizes the need for accounting knowledge so that the reader clearly understands assets and liabilities. Obviously, the author places much importance on accounting knowledge, no matter how boring it is, because he sees it as the most important subject in your life. If you are new to our channel, consider subscribing to the English Book Club now and press the bell icon, because this is the destination of learning, growth, and success. If you like the video and want to watch more such content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button.